that's where they began, was calling law enforcement. They weren't seem to be getting through to anybody or the right number or whatever it was. One of the tipsters called her husband and said, "Can you look online or whatever? Where do I call?" He looked and found that Kaylee Marie.
We're getting away from the question that I asked, okay? And what I like is the criteria that you use to decide what information is credible, not a kind of a recap of who called who, okay? You looked at this information, and somehow you looked at this and you decided, you guys collectively decided this was credible information, that she could have been there. And I'm asking you what information, how did you reach that conclusion? I mean, were you thinking, well, somebody took her to the mall and let her into the playground, or did you think she got there herself? I mean, how did you reach the conclusion that she was...
John, you're like theorizing here. Let me just say this. I saw the picture. The picture to me, I said to myself, this looks like Kaylee Marie. Am I 100% sure this is Kaylee Marie? No. Let me get these pictures to George and Cindy. They look at the pictures, and it's like, it's a possibility. Was it 100% certainty? No. With it being a possibility, and we'd all determined that, looking at that, they were forwarded to John Allen and to Nick Savage.
Okay. I guess the bottom line is
that was how the criteria was done. It's like you're looking at something, and is it credible or is it not? That appeared credible.
Was it up to you alone, or did Baez? I mean, was he?
I never spoke to Baez, so Baez had no.
So I guess what I'm trying to determine, and obviously I don't know that you're going to be able to answer this for me.
Sure.
Is it? Did you? What criteria? What factors did you use to decide which tips were credible and which ones were not? That's the question I've been trying to ask. Does it make sense or no?
Yes, it makes very good sense.
Okay. Did you guys have a criteria as to how you made these decisions? Was there something in place?
Each tip was treated independently.
Okay.
And tips that came from the Anthonys directly to us, that they believed certain information was credible, they would ask us to look into it. We would look into it. That would be the criteria, because most of the tips would come from the tip line.
Do you have any more questions about the tips?
Well, I'm curious to know, with the tip that you received on Suburban, were they included in that criteria, whether or not to forward it to law enforcement?
No, there was nothing to it. I just spelled it.
Okay.
I just spelled that as being nothing.
And how many times did it take you going to Suburban before you dispelled that?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm. 3.
No more than 3?
We know about 2. You've told us about 2. When was the third time you went down there?
A few days after I went by, and I just I didn't even go in the woods. I just looked and just walked up and down to see if I could see any points of entry or any kind of differences. That was it. And I was by myself.
During the time you looked into this, how many tips did you get forwarded to you indicating that Kaylee was deceased?
That Kaylee was deceased?
Yes.
Didn't get any tips that saying that Kaylee was deceased. Used to get threatening.
Okay, so
you would get tips saying, "Why are you looking when you know she's dead?"
Right. So I guess the question is Lucas was implying that Kaylee was playing in the woods, where Casey used to drink.
Okay.
Kaylee.
Exactly.
No.
Here's let's try. What I'd like to do is try to stick to, and I don't think we're not asking complicated. I'm not trying to confuse you. If you can help out, maybe if you understand the question, okay? What I'm asking, okay, is how many tips did you get indicating Kaylee was dead? Is there a way you can put that in a more understandable way?
Is Jeanette's phone call to you the only tip that you got where you feared she was dead?
Yes.
Did anybody else call and say that she was dead, or was that tip the only tip you got indicating that she was deceased? Did you ever get any other calls saying, like this one, Kaylee's dead, she's here, Kaylee's dead there? Is that the only tip that you got? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is you got one tip from Jeanette that Kaylee was dead, and you got no other tips indicating that she was dead. Is that accurate or not?
I received calls from people that said, "Why are you looking? She is dead."
Okay.
But just to answer that,
But
the question
as
first.
far as
Were there any other tips that
my
said,
knowledge,
"Hey,
no.
Kaylee is dead and she's here,"
To
or
my knowledge,
Kaylee's dead?
no,
Okay.
the only things that we would get, John, we would get calls criticizing us for looking for a live person.
Okay, I got that. Actually, I got it a couple of times. I want to make sure that I'm clear because all my questions, I guess, seem confusing. You never got any other tips other than the tip you got from this one psychic indicating that Kaylee was dead.
There was the one that said Kaylee was in the gas tank of the Pontiac car.
Okay.
I remember that.
So you got two indicating that she was dead.
Correct.
Okay, that's it.
No, out of the other 5 or 6 psychics total that had called, that I've spoken to, they all had theories of those things.
All right.
I listened to them.
So you got about 5 or 6 tips indicating that she was dead. No more than that. You didn't get 20 or 30.
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
All right. And how many tips did you get indicating that she was alive?
Triple digits.
Okay. Okay. And of those tips, how did you determine which of those were credible and which ones were not credible?
We followed up on every single tip. We came in,
Okay.
and it would lead somewhere or it wouldn't.
Okay.
I need a little clarification. I mean, triple digits means 100 through 999.
Right.
Vast difference. So,
I must say we looked into several hundred, 300, 400, 500, maybe.
So you got about.
There was like many tips would come in through the Kaylee tip line.
Okay. So you got about 5 or 6 indicating she was dead. One of those was credible. The other 4 or 5 were not, and you got between 300 and 500, roughly 300 to 500, indicating that she was alive, and you followed up on each and every one of those.
Called every single one.
Okay.
Or followed up.
Okay.
okay.
The most recent one. Want to hear about that?
Now, at some point, you became aware that we found a body out there in the area that you had been searching.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How did you become aware of that?
The news media. I heard it on the
Okay,
radio.
you heard it on the news. And
I'll tell you where I was. I was at Tiptoe Nail Salon in Sanford.
Okay.
And there was something came on the TV.
All right, what was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did,
Mm-hmm.
I walked out and I called the Anthonys. They were in California.
Okay.
And I said, there's reports coming on the news. He said that something has been found on Suburban Drive. I don't know what it is. I'm just letting you know because I know you're going to be getting on a plane soon. So as soon as I hear more information, then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Had they heard anything at that point?
They hadn't heard anything at that point.
And what time was that? What time did you make that phone call?
Between 9 and 10. It was probably about 9:30 or so, I believe, around that time.
Okay.
And then, as I heard more, I called again, and I remember Cindy saying that she received a call from you.
Okay.
Guys, can we take just 5 seconds?
Sure. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Brad, you need me to talk to me about anything, or? No. Okay. You done? Yeah, I'm done. You need anything? No, you guys need me, they need me for anything? Alright, if you do, just tell me, give me a call. Okay. Alright, I'll see you guys.
Have you met with him?
Yeah, and then I'm working for a lawyer. Okay.